get money, pimp hoes like Sweet James. First class flights, motherfucker, the seats change. Young Clay Tom pull this shit from deep range. Yeah, hey yo, my nigga Pete Gang. We get money, fuck hoes like Sweet James. First class flights, motherfucker, the seats change. Young Clay Tom pull this shit from deep range.
Deep Rangers. Man, I've been gone for a little minute, but I'm back. You know, I have my focus in other areas in my life, man. You know what I'm saying? Something else was taking a whole lot of time and energy. But we back like we never left, live in effect. I want to do something a little different. You see what I'm saying? I don't only want to show cars and showcase cars and things like that. I want to talk about different topics. You see what I'm saying? That's being chattering in certain circles inside the don't world. You see what I'm saying? I had a homeboy, one of my partners. He came down to get some mufflers put on. I ain't gonna say who he is. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say who my partner is, but he came down to get some muffler work done. He swung by my house for me to see the car. Now, when he came by my house, he smashed it. You know, he got a little LS in it. You know, got a little supercharger. No, nothing radical. You know, he can spin a little tires or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. But he came by my house and he smashed it. He smashed it, right? So when he came back around, this was just yesterday, when he came back around, I say, man, well, you sound good. You know what I'm saying? You run good too. He snapped. I ain't gonna call them names of the name he called, but we just gonna say Joe Blow them. Man, you could call Joe Blow them, tell him to line it up. I'll run a nigga. I'm talking about my dog talking cash money. So we end up getting into a conversation, and I'm trying to tell him, like, bro, the dudes that you saying, the call, you ain't in their lead. Man, I'm running. Listen. I say, listen. And then he had one of my other homeboys there hyping him up, saying how he running. And that led me to talk about this, because throughout the time of being inside the Don't Gang, you know, I was in the Don't Gang. I done had don'ts, you know what I'm saying? I was a stunner. You feel me? As soon as people see a car spin over a little tires with a little noise from the cam, blowing dust up on the street, they automatically think that you're running. So this ain't for the people that's in the Don't Gang, you know what I'm saying? Because people like us who's actually in the Don't Gang, who had don'ts, who have verts, they have this knowledge. But this is for the sideliners. These are for the people who's the spectators. You know, the people that sit behind their keyboard and watch, who don't really know. I want to enlighten you on something. Just because a car is spinning tires, making a lot of noise, that do not equals that he's running. I have to put this out there because a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know. And me and my partner, Mr. James, we was talking about this here, and I decided to set the camera up and just have a little convo. And this is my opinion. Whatever Mr. James say, this is his opinion. You know what I'm saying? He build motors. I like to call him, Mr. James, he's the diamond in the dirt that ain't been found. You know what I'm saying? But just because you spinning tires and you making noise, that don't mean you're running. Now, do you need some type of power to spin over, you know, these big rim 26s, 24s, or even 28? Of course. But there's levels. You know what I'm saying? There's levels. And I spoke to Big Low about this here too yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Big Low put it in perspective. You know what I'm saying? Big Low said you need some type of power to spin over these tires. You know what I'm saying? But that don't, you got to know what you're talking about. You can't just put yourself in a certain category just because you could just spin over tires. Big Low, shout out to Big Low, man. You know, he put it in a real perspective when I had spoke to him. And it's true. Now, you got racetrack speed and power, and then you have street power. Within the street power, what I like to consider, or what I like to call it is you got jam motors. You got what y'all see. When I was coming up, we used to go to jam. We used to call it jams. Y'all call it block party, but we used to call it jam. Some niggas got jam turn the corner motors. And what I mean by, you know, them cars when they come through, they got a little something. You know what I'm saying? And when they hit the corner at the jam or at the block party, that's when they want to hit it so it can fishtail, and they be fighting with the wheel. They making the car fishtail. You got jam motors. And then you got some motors that got real power. You see what I'm saying? So you got to stay in your lane. You see what I'm saying? Matter of fact, Mr. James, check it out real quick. Let's bring Mr. James in on this conversation. Let's bring this Mr. James, y'all. You know what I'm saying? You know, he been in the game for a little minute. There's a lot of cars, motors that he built that probably, you know, people don't even know because he's humble. You know what I'm saying? He don't really care for the spotlight, you know, but he's a veteran in the game. He has a lot of knowledge. He built all his motors, LS's, big blocks, small blocks, whatever you want, he can build it. So basically what I'm talking about is if you have someone that has a Chevrolet, box Chevy, G-body, whatever car.
Right.
And if that car is able to spin their tires over, and if it's making a lot of noise, do that automatically means that he's running or he is one of the top dog as far as horsepower?
Well, in my opinion, not necessarily. Simply put, noise doesn't equal power, and spinning tires doesn't equal power. I mean, there are a lot of factors that are in play here. Let me give you an example. In the past, guys used to love the Flowmaster mufflers. It made a lot of noise for any car you put them on. But it didn't necessarily mean the car made any power.
Right.
It just made a lot of noise.
Exactly.
Okay. And so that was one of the key things back in the day. People like, oh, if I make noise, I'm making power. No. That's not one and the same.
Exactly.
Noise is just noise.
Exactly.
And power is something totally different. Another thing to look at, too, is, like you said, spinning tires. Spinning tires is not a difficult thing to do if you have the right setup. Let's say you don't have much horsepower.
But you got low gear.
There you go.
Exactly.
Okay. Numerically, the gears, to put it easier to understand, if you have a 4:10 ratio, 411, 456, something along those lines, it makes it a lot easier to spin the tire. So if you have stock size wheels on there and you change your gear ratio out there, it's going to spin. I don't care how much horsepower is under the hood, 25, 30 horses. It's going to spin those tires.
Exactly.
So now, let's move up to today.
But hold on, now, I don't mean to cut you, because I don't want to forget this thought. And to add to what Mr. James is saying, I got a friend of mine by the name of Bucci. Y'all know Bucci. Bucci been squatting cars, hooking up music forever. He did all my cars, squat them, music. Make a long story short, Bucci ended up selling a box Chevy to another friend of mine named Mike. Mike done moved up to Georgia. He sold his box Chevy to Mike. Now, he had a box Chevy with no work. If I'm not mistaken, they said it was a police edition box Chevy. No work done to the motor, stock motor.
Yeah.
But he was able to get out there and spin them 24s over because he had low gear, positive traction, and he was able to do donuts and spin it over.
Right.
And he didn't even have no work done to the motor, but he had a lot of gear.
There you go.
So I just wanted to add that to, you know what I'm saying?
And that's the key, gear ratio. So as I stated, when you change the gear ratio to accommodate the change that you have in the wheel and tire combination, which is a larger diameter, so what you want to do is you want to bring the gear ratio in line so that it's not holding the car back. It's not lugging it down.
Right.
Because simply put, if you keep the stock gears in there, it's going to have a very difficult time trying to spin those tires. When you got a 24-inch rim, you add the tire, that diameter goes up to 28, 29 inches, it's not going to spin it. And then, let's digress for a second. Then you need a lot of horsepower to make it work.
Exactly.
Okay. But if you don't have the horsepower, then change out the gear ratio and make it work. So instead of keeping a stock ratio 3-to-1, okay? Bring it up to a 4.5 range, and now your motor can utilize, okay, the gear ratio so they can spin over those big tires and wheels.
Right.
Yeah. Without
Right.
adding a lot under the hood.
Right.
Now, that's something, if you don't have the resources to have 700, 800, 900 horsepower or more under the hood, then if you want to play in the game and do spinning tires, then get your rear end done, get a posi unit installed, get the gear ratio correct for what your combination is.
Right.
Okay, and then maybe add a little bit more so it's a little easier. The only place you're going to sacrifice is when you're cruising. It's going to have some RPM on it when you're cruising.
Exactly.
So it wouldn't be a highway car. It'd be a good around the town car.
Exactly.
Your RD tachometer will be, spiking up there quickly. But it'll give you that feel, that power you're looking for.
Exactly.
Right. Add them old Flowmaster mufflers and you got the noise too.
Exactly.
So that's something you can, you can have without sinking a lot of money into your powertrain, and it's easier on your transmission, easier on your rear end when you got your gear ratio correct, because when you have all that load on there and you're constantly on it, something's got to give. Something's going to be your fusible link.
Right.
So it's going to be a U-joint, drive shaft, transmission, rear end. Something's got to give.
Right.
So just remember that.
Right. So, He cleared it up a little more. You see what I'm saying? But in a nutshell, my homeboy, I know you may be watching, and to everybody else out there, man, that has limited knowledge when it comes to horsepower, when it comes to, gear ratio, positive traction, spinning tires. Once again, I have to stress this because even when I was young,
right,
as soon as we seen a car making noise and spinning tires, we automatically, that's my car. That car fast.
Yeah, that's right.
That don't mean you fast. And let me tell you something. You can't look at a car and just automatically know how much horsepower he's putting down.
No.
But I'm gonna tell you something though. Uh-huh. We can look at a car and we can tell him more or less. I'm gonna give you an example. You got some guys, right? Mm-hmm. When they do a burnout, and as they tapping the gas,
right,
them tires is spinning erratically, blowing the tires away.
Right.
They could be doing a donut.
Yeah.
While they doing a donut, they patting the gas and that car going crazy. And when they straighten it up, that car's going down with the tires constantly blowing away.
That's right. That's right.
You can look at that car and you can tell that car
it's got power.
Has power.
That's right.
Now, you got other group of people in the world that has power on a lower level. After that first gear, they don't have nothing else to offer.
That's right. That's right.
After you get out that first gear,
that's right.
You have, I'm talking about, in order for them to look like something, they have to give that motor all what it have in that first gear.
First gear.
And as soon as that car shift, that car may, and as soon as the car shift, guess what the car do? It'll bar down like a big old pig.
That's right.
So that's the difference when you can look at a car and you can tell, man, automatically. And guys who's watching this who have knowledge in what me and Mr. James is saying, you can look at a car and say, he faking.
Yeah.
Or he running.
That's right.
So you got to determine if you got top tier, real power, like, man, my shit is running, or do you got like what I like to call it, a jam motor, a turn the corner motor.
Yeah.
Like, guess what? When I had my Chevrolet, I had a big block. I considered that I had a jam motor.
Yeah.
I had a jam motor.
Right.
I had one of them motors that when I creep through the jam, when they jam and when they got the block party, I wait till I get to the end of the street, and that's when I want to hit it and turn it so it can fishtail on purpose, and I'm fighting with the wheel to make the crowd like, ooh. So is you running or do you have a jam motor?
Yeah, I like that.
So I just wanted to clear that up, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not everybody that's spinning tires that has real power, man. This is Mr. James, y'all. We getting ready to leave. This Mr. James. I'm going to put his number down, man. He can build whatever you want. He's a very smart, intelligent man, especially when it comes to these motors. You see what I'm saying? Y'all get in contact with him. He can build whatever you want. LS, big blocks, small blocks, whatever you want. Mr. James can do it. He's the man for the job. He can give you If your pocket's deep enough, he can make it happen. Yeah. So, as always, you know what we want to call it, man. Deep range. We having deep range conversations, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to be coming back to y'all talking about a lot of different topics that people are scared to talk about. Deep range, deep range, deep range. Thanks, Mr. James.
Anytime.
We out, man.
Yes.